Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are joining us, whether it's live on social media or you guys are catching the podcast later. Thank you so much. I'm Jennifer Bagley, CEO of CI Web Group and podcast host. I am so excited today. We have a very, very special guest, someone near and dear to my heart that I've learned a tremendous amount from. Being strategic partners, being friends. He's one of our clients. I have Trey McWilliams, who is a third generation leader in the home services industry. I believe currently serving as chief executive officer of McWilliams and Sons. In 2022, we got to be part of the launch of Blue Cardinal Home Services Group, which is creating a network of brands across the country. Trey, tell me a little bit about what's going on within your organization. I'm sure it's never slow.
No, Jennifer, I appreciate the opportunity to jump on the call with you and share a little bit about what we're doing and probably a lot of what we're doing wrong, what I've done wrong. So just a little backstory, I think that will help maybe the listeners really understand kind of how raw this is probably going to be today. As Jennifer mentioned, I grew up in the trades, third generation in East Texas. Grew the family business to a point of multiple locations. We'd done acquisitions. We had greenfield locations. We had added plumbing, and we're having a lot of success. And we looked at partnering with a lot of different partnerships, and really always had this this focus that we're in the people building business, and we have to do HVAC and plumbing, and I really just had that at heart. And as I started looking at what was the next phase of growth for our business, we looked at a lot of different options and ultimately decided that we wanted to build something in the trades that had a long-term outlook, that was really people focused, really had a real focus around cultivating and building great leaders that's in the business today. And so we started the Blue Cardinal Group, and we've been at that for a couple of years now, and definitely has been a lot of lessons learned and a lot of challenges. And when I say challenges, I think it's really just as you enter different cultures and as you work with so many different leaders, there's just a lot of things that come up, and there's a lot of things that I've learned along the way that I'll share today, and really look forward to just kind of getting into this. And I tell everybody the subject we're going to talk about today gets Jennifer don't tell you anything in advance, so I got it 24 hours before this call, and it is really just ironic because we're in the middle of onboarding a new ops team, and so I'm in the thick of change management right now, and also just lessons learned of things I wish I would have done different, and things I failed my team on, setting them up for success, that hopefully I can unpack and share some of those scars with you guys today.
Yeah, I get it. It is never changing. The problems definitely evolve and transform the larger you get and the more people that are involved. What are some of as you guys made the decision and you were going through the process of deciding how you want to scale, what made private equity, what made building a platform the option that you guys chose? I mean, and what were all your options at the point when you were trying to figure out, all right, what is the next level to us?
Yeah. So, I think let's just back up, define private equity. And I think it means a lot of different things to people. But, for us, it was a capital partner to come on and allow us to take what McWilliams, our family business, was doing and apply it across some other businesses. But more importantly, it was to really, to identify the businesses like us that was wanting kind of the same change and the same growth opportunity. And so for us at McWilliams and for me was I really enjoy the game. So I think there's a lot of different reasons why someone wants to grow their business, sell their business, and everybody's going to have a different view on this and how they look at it. For me personally, I was at a point where honestly my wife and kids didn't sign up for the risk in the journey I was on, and so I was looking for an opportunity that if something happened to me tomorrow, that Brittany didn't have to worry about how to operate the business and what to do financially, and I have a great team of individuals that are very capable of leading the business forwards, but I was the driver behind it, and I was
Right.
the risk taker, and those are the things that kind of, I guess, motivated me to say, hey, what's out there? And along that way, like, I had a passion of growing the business. I love people. I love the industry. Love the people in the industry. So we looked at a lot of different options of everything from just continue doing what we're doing, right, to partner with a strategic, to build our own platform. We ultimately elected to build our platform for a few reasons. There's a lot of great companies out there, so I think, but there's also a lot of them that have a lot of different strategies and what my desires were. It's pretty simple for me and my people. It's like, 10 years from now, I want to be able to look back with my people and be proud of what we built and still be a part of it if we want to. Like, and that means that we have to do the right things, treat people the right ways, grow the right ways, and ultimately pick the right partners, is where it starts at. And so that was really I think, the reasoning behind it. There's always a financial, and mine was more of security than it was like retirement. But some people are doing it for retirement. So I think everybody has a different reasoning for it. But at some point, your business and your leadership team, more importantly, has to be in position to transition to you, with you being away from the business, whether that's you're retiring, you're going to sell it to your kid, or you're going to partner with somebody.
What kind of, if you're looking for a partner, like right now, I know a lot of businesses that are struggling, living in both worlds. They're living in the world of running the business that they absolutely love, and they're also living in the struggle of, how do I market? How do I manage financials? How do I properly budget? How do I manage legalities? How do I manage risks, and so forth? And those are two different hats, big different hats to wear. What do you think some of the benefits are of bringing on a strategic partner to kind of take some of that weight off?
Yeah. So I think, I think with companies with experience, the marketing piece of it, the call center piece of it, the training piece, there's a lot of tools that we're going to be able to bring to the table. But like, I think my goal out of this call today, more than anything, Jennifer, is to come as a contractor and say that it's really about being like honest with yourself on what you want to do. And if you are in a situation you don't like being in, why are you in it?
Yeah.
And are you willing to get yourself out of that? Because, I think any partner you're going to go with, there's going to be expectations, and you got to meet those expectations. Are they going to bring resources? Yes, but it's still probably you doing a lot of the lift, and there's all the other changes that come along with that. So, I just kind of look at it as like, what do you like? Just be real honest with yourself, because I think as we went through this with different partners and all great people, but I think sometimes they and I'm speaking for myself as well, is that you say what you think they want to hear, and that that's not what's going to keep you motivated going forwards.
Right. So you talked a little bit about some of the things you wish you'd done different. Like, roll that back.
Yeah.
Owner,
Well,
operator, McWilliams.
yeah. So, so I think a lot of different phases was early on as a smaller company. Hiring the right talent at the leadership level was probably we waited too long, right? Of just getting the right talent. Because when I finally, brought those people on board that were smarter than me, that were more sophisticated at different areas, and it required me to up my leadership game. It required me to be the law of the lid. I had to raise my own and really get to a point where I could impact them. But bringing on people that could take us to the next level was a big piece that I wish I would have done earlier. As we begin this, and as we begin to scale too, was really getting the business in a position that it was very if you want to call it scorecard driven, but everybody knew where they stood at all times. I think a lot of these businesses, including my own, one of the things that was real impactful to me is just, you always can learn from people. And our ops team was having a conversation the other day, and he was breaking down some stuff. And he's like, most of your team's always been responsible for the coworker, right? They've always been responsible for that employee. They've always been responsible for the customer, but very few of them have been responsible for the company's P&L, right? That was always the owner. And so it was always me up here at the top trying to figure out how to make payroll, why we lost the margin we did, why we didn't hit our sales number. It was always me focused on the numbers and really just what I wish is what's probably I would have had more financial literacy and responsibility in my company earlier.
There is nothing you're saying that doesn't absolutely apply to myself as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
There's not a single one of these lessons that I wouldn't echo and say the same thing. I mean, and it's challenging until you have the aha moment and until you make the change. It's a lot of weight too. It's a lot of stress, a lot of liability, a lot of weight. And the sooner you can get through the evolution of being the small entrepreneur versus being the leader and running the business and bringing on other leaders, I would 100% agree. I can literally map out every one of these stages in my own business, these moments.
Well, I think, you talk about regrets and everybody's going to be at this point at some time. You're going to sell it to a kid, your business, right? So if you're a $5 million revenue business and your goal is to transfer that to your child, and let's say you have two other children and you still got to retire. So, you got a $5 million business today that's probably debt free at some level, maybe some assets, trucks, but the business itself is paid for. And you got a son or you got a daughter that's running that business. And ultimately right now they're responsible for operating the business, take care of the employee, take care of the coworker, and you're handling the financial piece of that business, right? What happens when you transfer that business? Because today you're operating that business and it's pretty much debt free, but you're going to sell it to a child for, let's just say $1 million for easy math. And now all of a sudden that business has $1 million debt on it that it's never had before. With a child that has a desire of growing the business, but now we got $1 million debt and they probably don't have the financial literacy, or they don't have a team that has financial literacy and responsibility around them. So I think that's one scenario where that's very important. The second scenario is, hey, you're going to partner with a group like us. Your goal is that guy that has worked for you forever, he's going to get that GM position, and he's going to, because he's helped you, he's brought you to the dance. Everybody in the business loves this guy. He is a great guy, and your goal is like, hey, I'm going to step out of the business. The problem is when you step out of the business, a lot of times you were the only one that had the financial responsibility, and now all of a sudden this new GM gets it that he's never had before.
Right.
And so when I talk about regrets, I think through this whole entire journey, through my own family business at the time, we had 5 locations, to partnering and building this Blue Cardinal platform. That is probably one thing that I see a lot of is like, and one thing I failed as a leader at was I always drove that financial side of the business. I thought it was my responsibility. I burdened the whole entire thing. And now all of a sudden, this GM's responsible for his P&L to the EBITDA level. And I failed to give him the tools to do that. And so when I look at, really start to like reflect, and as we bring on some team members, and, I look at the things that I failed as a leader to set them up for success, and the cadence of these meetings to, the scorecards, and to the financial literacy and responsibility. And I think that's like the most important piece of culture, and how do you protect, I think the goal today is how to scale the trade business while staying people focused. And, I like, if you unpack scale, a lot of people are going to say, the first thing that comes to your head is revenue growth, synergies. But when I look at it from a leadership lens, I look at your vision and strategy's got to be clearer than ever.
Yep.
Because it was Trey in the room with you and I could communicate it and it came from my mouth to your ears.
Yep.
Now it's going from my mouth
to someone else's,
to someone else's, to someone else's, to someone else's. And, you look at adaptability, like, as you scale a business, you got one aggravated customer today. When you 10X your business, you got 10. And so everything compounds. So if you don't have people on your team that can help with that, that has the skill sets to do that, it creates challenges, and so everything gets tested, your cultures and your values, as you bring on new leaders. I have, like, when it was just my core 5, I was with them every day. Like, so my values were on display right in front of them every day. Now I bring on this great person, this man or this woman that has a ton of skill set, and I'm trying to influence their culture, but they spend very little time with me. So, like, how you hire and that process is extremely important. And so when I look at scale, I look at those things as like clear vision, adaptability, culture, value, team development, communication, their scorecards, the risk management. And then, like, how does that really impact this people-focused organization? And I think that you kind of look at all those things that I think that allow scale to take place. And, just a simple question I have to ask myself is, like, did I set them up for success? And the reality is like, I failed at a lot of levels of doing that. I took a lot of stuff for granted. I took a lot of my trust that I thought I had with them to be able to influence them. Well, as you begin to distance yourself and spend less time with them, a lot of things that you thought you had, you don't. And,
yeah, 100%. And the further removed they are from the customer, it poses challenges as well. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, I think myself included, no one gives us a playbook on what level of transparency should you be providing, but transparency allows for accountability, right? So, I mean, let's dive into that a little bit. At what point are the financials? At what point are those things important to be transparent with? At what level within the company should you be transparent? If you were to do it all over again, what size of company would you have been when you made, if you did it right, now knowing what you know, where you were completely transparent from a financial standpoint and allowed them to have the role of being accountable for the success of their division or their department or their team?
Yeah. So I think it starts with alignment with your team, trust in your team, right? I think that's got to be established. So I was very open with my core team. So my core team was, operations, sales, finance, and marketing was my core group. And I was really comfortable with those people, and they had a lot of trust in me. I had a lot of trust in them. So I never had this fear that I was going to share something they were going to use against me. I had fear that there was times we wasn't performing like we should financially. Would it scare them?
Yeah.
Right. But what it did for them, honestly, I think it made them say, like, when I think I had the right leadership team. So I say that with this context, because I think they all felt it was their responsibility to, the way we're dealing with people's livelihoods, and they understood that these men and women, they bet on me every day to make good decisions, to set them up for success, to protect the herd, and they trust me with them. And at the end of the day, it's their family. They're trusting me with their family's livelihood as well.
Right.
And I think my team took that extremely to heart. So when we looked at P&Ls, we wasn't looking at P&Ls like, how much money is Trey making? right? It was more like, hey, it requires profit to do daughter daddy appreciation dinners,
Right.
to pay these guys. So like it was like, so I think if in the financial, when you look at that, I think we're all human when we think this way, as what's in it for me. And so I think the team that's sitting around the table's got to understand what's in it for them, but they also got to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, because that's what's in it for our people that work for us every day. And that's what's in it for our customers. And I think just once we finally got that really established in my organization, I began to kind of be able to give a lot of responsibility and that financial visibility to my team. Did we ever give a true P&L? Honestly, below our GMs, we didn't.
Mhm.
But at things that we did as an owner, owner-led business, as we had an owner's comp bucket. Anytime they said that expense was for Trey's church or Trey's grandma and it didn't belong in the company, they just dumped it in owner's comp or owners. Yeah, it was
Owner
owner's comp,
draw.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but it was basically a bucket for them, not to contest me what I ran through the business of what I
Yep.
wanted to do, but we had agreements on what we were going to do on our charitable side of the business. So anytime that there was a discrepancy or they felt, hey, that negatively impacted us and it wasn't business related, no questions asked, go dumping it in this bucket. And so for me, that was my way of saying, you guys are going to be held accountable for this. And anytime there's something non-business related, you have the ability, if you catch it, see it, throw it in this bucket, and it won't go against you. So that created this, I think, alignment for us that what they are being measured off of was truly under their control.
Yeah, absolutely. At the different levels within the business, what were the major KPIs? I mean, I struggled just running a marketing agency and sitting on calls back to back or sitting in a room with a bunch of contractors that I feel challenged in trying to get enough information to be able to assist them in making um, intelligent decisions with a budget when we don't have a budget, or when we're not tracking what our closing rate is, or we're not tracking what our conversion rate is, or even looking for the truth. I mean, how critical is it? Even something as simple right now, we're building automation tools that um, allow us to be able to leverage AI to go into your database and automatically reach out to everybody with the system 10 years or older, automatically reach out to everybody with the maintenance agreement, automatically reach out and schedule tune-ups and it's challenging to even automate the business because the data is so bad. It's so messy. So, I mean, at what point does not operating on spidey senses become required to be able to grow your business? It's not a
So,
feeling.
yeah. So I think I'm gonna steer us a different direction just for a second. And
Okay.
so I talked to, I have a great opportunity of seeing fabulous businesses every day, right? And a lot of times these are businesses that some of these businesses are growing at 30% a year. They're making good money. And when I ask them how they're doing it, very few times do they tell me exactly how they're doing it, right? But here's the common denominator in every one of those businesses is their mindset. And their mindset is, we're going to win, right?
Mhm.
Their people's mindset, it's high energy. They're taking care of their people. And then I see other companies and even some of our own, like we put all this structure in place and these scorecards in place and all those things are great. But when you change the mindset of a company from, hey, like take care of your people, to like that's where their focus was. And what I really learned from that, Jennifer, was it's disciplines that drive the business forwards. It's
Mhm.
behaviors, right? It's certain behaviors. And there's certain behaviors that will create results time and time again, right?
Mhm.
And without understanding the P&L, right?
Right.
But when I think about this scorecard of this P&L, is less is more when it comes to those type things. if they have responsibility for it, they should have authority over it. So how can I really let's just use a business, a $10 million business that this guy, this operator's owns and operates, and he has an ops manager that works for him. If that ops manager doesn't get to set the overhead expenses of who he's hiring, how much you're hiring him for, and the only thing he's responsible for is the service and sales department, then my opinion is he should be held accountable to the gross margin of the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's his job. He shouldn't be responsible for the EBITDA because he don't have a full authority of it, right? So when we are scaling our business, that's the question we always ask ourselves is, hey, do they have responsibility for it? If they do they have authority over it? If they don't, we need to back up to where responsibility meets authority, and that's the KPI we're going to hold them accountable for, and just start somewhere. But a lot of it was disciplines. Is I knew if you did invoice review every day, and that was a focus we had. There's a lot of cost control things are going to take care of themselves, right? So maybe we didn't have the best inventory management system that they looked at every day, but if you reviewed the invoices every day, it would take care of a lot of that. So really, start just what behaviors can you put in your business today that will drive the outcome that you're looking for in your profit and loss statement.
Yeah, that makes 100%. This, as people are trying to figure out what their next play is, what their next move is, what are the paths for them if they know they need help and they're struggling with some of the operational and financial things, and they don't feel like they're going to be able to pull this off. They don't feel like it's not their wheelhouse. What are their options? They still want to run the business, but they've hired multiple people. It's not worked out. A lot of them have hired people that have done things to the business and they weren't even aware of it. And they've, had to take a few steps back, but what are all the different paths that they have available to them?
Yeah. So, I think there's the enterprise value of your business is measured kind of off your historical trends, right? Your historical profitability. So in order to create value in your business for an exit or a cash out, if you want, you got to get it there, right? So there's maybe some businesses that will come in there and buy it, but it's gonna be pennies on the dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first thing I would have is to think about is if you truly come to the realization that you're not the lead, you can't lead the business forwards, then I would step back and say that I need to I have got to work on my interviewing skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to understand, I got to go get exposure to what success looks like, what profiles of people are successful in this business. And I got to just really hone in on that to say, I'm going to go hire my replacement to drive this business forwards, and make a comp plan for alignment with that person, like what's in it for them, how do they earn equity. And I think it's make sure that you kind of have a mindset like you're not greedy. Like you essentially are just go hire your partner in business. Right. So I think if I get to that realization, but I there's so much opportunity to network in this industry there, and it's an open playbook. We're open. I can. I don't know if I've ever been told no in this industry, that I couldn't come visit a location, or I couldn't talk to one of their people. So I would just highly recommend that, there's better practice groups out there. There's, but there's people that, like, this industry is so given that they'll open their doors up to you and pour into you. So go get exposure, and you may find out that you were right on the edge of figuring it all out. Right. Or it may have been that you just needed to get remotivated, like just re-energized. And that on-site with, seeing a husband and wife team do exactly what 3 years ago they were in your situation, and these are the things they did, and now look at what they're doing. I think that renewed hope sometimes is all you need as well.
Yeah, I would agree. So what if they are sitting, they're profitable? I mean, most entrepreneurs start their business for three reasons. Most. They want more time, more money, and more freedom. And that's also something that you don't technically feel like you have most of the time as an entrepreneur, right? So you can change that. So what if they've been successful at building a business, a profitable business? They've had 3 solid years of profits, and they're still feeling like something's missing. There's a gap. Uh, they want to get to the next move, but they want to make a bigger play. What are their options when they get there?
Call me. No.
I bet
No, I
you
think,
are perfect.
yeah. No, I mean, and that's what we're looking for, obviously, in partnerships is we got businesses that are just need additional capital to keep blowing and going at the pace they're going.
Mhm.
Guys that said, "Hey, I got too much, I need some diversification, but I'm not ready to step off this train yet." To guys that say, "Trey, I've hit my wall, but I desire so much more." Right, and we
Mhm.
can say, "Hey, here's the skill, here's the things we can do, and we can get you over that wall." So I think that a partnership is something worth looking at. I think the I think you need to bring in, some type of outside resource probably to help you. So whether that's a business coach, but you want to do it on your own, then go get a business coach, and that can really help you put these things in place. Again, go back to exposure, but like go sit with someone that's done it,
Yeah.
and quit trying to reinvent the wheel. Because I think there's playbooks out there that if you're disciplined enough to follow, and you're humble enough to follow them,
Right.
they will create results quickly, and probably a lot greater than what you can do on your own. So I think there's people like me in the industry that I think are looking for great partners. And so I think that's one option, and then the other option is like keep growing it yourself. Because if you are at a wall, you know, and you're not holding back maybe your existing leadership team, then you're going to set them up for failure as well if you give them the business. Now,
Right.
sometimes it's the sad part is sometimes as leaders of the business, we're the ones holding it back, and the
Mhm.
team around us probably could take it to the next level. We're just not willing to let go to let them
Yep.
do it. And so I think there's a lot of self evaluation in that through that journey of like as an entrepreneur, if you do decide to exit the business, what are you going to do next? And you need to
Mhm.
make sure you have that figured out because you're wired different than most, so you're looking
Right.
for the next high, right? And so I think as that question is a hard one to answer directly because I think there's so much of it is about the desire of that leader and that owner to where his shortcomings are that's keeping him from doing that as well.
Yeah, I agree. So brass tacks, someone that is they've been considering this, like they've been considering bringing on a partner, they've been considering an exit, but they don't technically want to get out. Is there a way they can structure a deal where they can sell the business, take some chips off the table, reinvest, and be part of a
Yeah.
platform that has plans for multiple exits?
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm just going to use us for the example here, but what we're looking for, I think there's two types of sellers, right? Of partners. There's the one that's got a lot of gas in his tank, his or hers tank, and they want to partner with someone that can bring some of these resources. Maybe there's something they don't like. Like a lot of times I hear, I don't like marketing. I know that's surprising to you. Or I'm not good at finance. I hate dealing with the financial side of the business, right? So there's things at as a platform group that we're doing that obviously can alleviate a lot of those stresses from those people. So we're looking for someone that's wants to come on and continue the race with us, continue to carry the people forwards. Obviously, roll money over for alignment. We want to win with you, and we want you
Mhm.
to win with us as well. So, and then there's the next partner that's, hey Trey, maybe I've got a great team, and my goal is to make a 1-year transition with you guys. But hey, I'm at retirement age, or hey, I got this next business that I'm just wanting to go do.
Yep.
And our ask on that is like, our goal is not to come in and take over a business. Our goal is to come alongside you, bring resources, bring our experiences, bring capital if that's what's needed, and work alongside the existing team. So when that type of partnership comes about of a guy or a girl that's like, hey, I've got it to this far and I really just want to transition out, what we want to really understand is, do you have the team in place that can carry this business forwards? And but majority of them do, but there's some of them that don't, and that's the conversation that, like, more than anything, Jennifer, like, I just want to. I love the trades, and my grandfather, my dad was in the business, and honestly, like, they worked really hard and didn't always have a lot to show for it, right? And it wasn't from a lack of effort. And so, like, my passion is people that's like poured their heart and soul into something. Maybe they're missing a few pieces, and what our group loves to do is like, hey, let me help you put those pieces together, and maybe our paths cross in a year or 2 years from now, and there's nothing more fulfilling to me is to cross paths with you in 2 years, and now your business, you truly get the exit you deserve in your business. And I think that's really like my passion behind starting the platform of this is like, I want to see people honestly either continue to grow their business with excitement and dignity, or exit their business with what they deserve for the amount of effort they put into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, I mean, not only not understanding financials, but I don't think everybody fully understands that part of an exit can be that there is a financial upside for you as the business owner now. There is a relative, I'm going to say immediate compared to what it would take if you were on your own, infrastructure playbook that's been done over and over and over again, whether it's technology infrastructure, getting the right systems in place, proper setup of those systems, proper scorecards, proper management, financial accountability. I mean, all of these marketing playbooks that have worked over and over and over again, those are often the things that I think they really struggle with. And I think what I've heard is that they get nervous about what's going to happen to my people. Like, I wouldn't do that to my people. And I think that's sometimes maybe not getting these things in place, not getting the assistance that you need if you struggle in any of these areas might be doing a lot more damage than helping your team get the additional resources, systemization, technology, infrastructure, marketing, structure, reporting, and everything else that, great people, you put great systems around them, they become even better.
Yeah, no, and about your people, I think from my side of like back to my regrets and things is, my people, certain people probably didn't know their numbers as well as they should have. My fault, right? So like so when I think back, it's like, what did I do to set my team members up for success, right? And did I do everything in my power? Did I give them the leadership coaching that they deserved? Did I give them a scorecard? Did they have clear understanding what success looked like, what good looked like? And I think when we talk about that, there's no need to protect your people if you've set them up for success, right? Because this industry is begging for great people, right? So so it's when you start worrying about your people, which I think that's a natural tendency of all of us. Like, I mean, I love my people. They brought me to the dance, and I love them, and I want to see them be successful. But I also want to make sure, that I do everything to set them up for success, or am I asking someone to just take my people as they are and ignore their shortcomings because I failed to set them up for success, right? But I mean, we've had operators that's transitioned extremely well with us through all this. And, I think back to like, you talk about processes and scorecards and all that. And like, there's a reason that, the franchise business is so successful, right? Because, you go to, you play the playbook, right? Yeah. And do we want to completely come in there and change everybody's culture and change? No, like we partner with you in our particular case because we saw something you were doing really good.
Yeah.
So there's the balance between just saying, hey, but here's something that we see another business doing really good at, try this. And then here's a certain things that we just need to have common language and common alignment on reporting. And that's really the big changes through it. I think the biggest change for an entrepreneur is really just that the emotional journey that you go on when you partner with someone, right? And I think that's doesn't matter if you sell it to an employee, to to partner with someone like us. It's just different that they got to be mentally prepared for.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's I would agree with that. It's interesting. My background is actually supply chain management. I was a black belt in Six Sigma, certified project manager, and managed global supply chain. And then I became an entrepreneur. And I feel like I lost it for a period of time when you're struggling to try and figure out how to pay payroll, how to manage people. You're directly facing customers. You're building your products and services. Um, for me personally, I feel like I came to the table with all of the right systems and processes in my head. I was trained, I was certified, I was skilled at that. And then somehow you become an entrepreneur and it goes all out the window.
Yeah. No, I think structure is extremely important of just trying to, not chase the new shiny objects, like just staying disciplined, right? And then doing the hard things. We were talking with our leadership team yesterday, and they were like, what are the things that, Trey, you felt like that really helped you be successful? And it's like, mine was, you had to fall in love with what you hate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because I'm naturally going to do certain things because I like doing them. So I had to be more intentional about the things that I don't like doing,
Yeah.
and which falling in love with what I hate. And,
Yep.
but those are the things that made me whole, that allowed
Yep.
me to, and some of it was, I'm never going to be that person. And I better go hire someone that can do that. And that was a lot of my, a lot of my success. I feel like has came that I've been able to put the people in the right seats and hire the right talent and coach the right people. I'm not the smartest one. I got a lot of smart people on my team, but I am the fighter. And when I believe in something and I believe in you, I will fight for it. And they know that. So
Yeah, I love that. Actually, opened a marketing and sales business because I knew nothing about it and did not like that side of the business. I felt that they made bad decisions. They absolutely murdered the supply chain through and through, and that was my version of I'm going to force myself to master this process, because it was definitely something I had never had any experience in. Then all of a sudden the systems and processes go back, and then you have the aha moment that, you know what, those are important. Let me get back to my roots. I need to revitalize the fact that this requires some structure. But it took hard lessons, right, to revitalize that. I
yeah,
think
I mean, I'll tell everybody, almost all my processes are built out of pain.
yeah,
Right? When the pain gets real enough, you fix it. So.
yeah. I mean, I think moments like this where everybody that's listening here has an opportunity to listen to you. These are those times when, if you can self-reflect, if you can remove all the lenses that you look at yourself and your business from, and try and find all of those blind spots. This is
And I think, for me, and I know we're getting close on time, but for
yeah,
me, I do pour my heart and soul into these people. So it's
yeah.
I was talking to one of our GMs yesterday, and he's like, Trey, it just hurts me when I had to make hard decisions. I'm like, and it should, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the hardest thing of this accountability, and it's for me, the lesson I learned was I need to have clear expectations, a scorecard that they know where they stand at all times. So when the
Yeah.
hard conversations come about, they're not surprised. Right. And
Right.
they almost self-select. And those are things that I wish I would have done earlier on, because I look at these people as my friends and family,
Yep.
and, and those are hard things to do when you're trying to build a winning team, and maybe they're just in the wrong seat on that team. But it's a very hard conversation to have when they're surprised it's the first time they ever heard it.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is I think the go into it knowing that we changed two ways, right? It's either consistency and repetition or a significant emotional event. And those usually are not fun. Those are usually those tough lessons. So any opportunity you have, even if it's uncomfortable, get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Set
Right.
up the right systems, lean into being uncomfortable, and it's consistency and repetition. It's going to become more normal, more natural. It's going to feel better, and you can avoid some of the hurdles, the pain, and the road bumps, if at all possible.
Yep.
This is the time.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great conversation. And like I said, I think this probably hits home with a lot of different people, regardless of what business you're in or what size your business is. It's the people is what makes up these businesses, and they're the lifeblood of what we do. And we got to figure out how to set them up for success, and also how to have the hard conversations when it's time.
Yeah, agreed. So Trey, for someone who's been listening that, it's piqued their interest, it's something they're considering, how available are you? How can people reach out to you? What kind of conversations are
Yeah.
open?
No, I love the industry. So I mean, I'm happy to give out my cell phone number here, and they can text me, call me. Like I love the business, and whether that's Trey, I'm in a family ran business and want to figure out how to buy my dad out to, because I've done that, to I'm working with my sister, and
You've
she's
done
a
that?
rock star, and I need to create her own identity. I've done that.
Yeah.
And then I've done we've done quite a few different transactions on the platform. So I've seen all things good and bad. And I would love the opportunity that, hey, if you're looking at partnering with someone, it'd be my honor to have the opportunity to talk with you. So I can give it now if that's what you want. You want me to
Yeah.
give it out now?
Throw out your cell
Yeah.
phone number. Crystal, put it up on the screen.
Yeah. So it's 936-465-1882.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Trey. I know you're swamped. You're coming out of a leadership meeting to take time with us here today. I really, really appreciate your time and everything that you guys are doing for the industry. It's absolutely amazing. And I just got to say, I just got back from an event over at their place in Lufkin, Texas, and man, you guys are even the event. It was organized, it was disciplined, it was full of amazing tactical content they could do. And it just has this Southern charm and this vibe of people who absolutely love each other and want to help. So you guys are the real deal. I appreciate your time today. For everyone that's joined, you guys, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to work on your business, not in your business. Again, we'll see you on the next show. Thank you again, Trey.
Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer. See you guys.